advanced footwork and lost secrets of the Filipino martial arts. I'll be presenting the true triangle system of footwork. How to protect yourself first from all strikes and attacks, utilizing the counter-offense system of triangular footwork. Then we're going to show you how to attack on the triangle system. And then how both combatants maneuver, how we train these skills individually, how we drill them together, and then how you get the free flow, how you get the true combat application or the true skill development of combat blade fighting. The better your skill becomes with the counteroffensive footwork, Dennis comes in again, multiple attacks. 1, 2, 3. See, I can totally evade all the strikes of my opponent. I even allow him to start attacking first. 1, 2, 3. Look at the range that I've got with my momentum and with the particular execution of this reverse 45-degree footwork. Back into fluid 5 attacks. Back into back up before me. Then back out here, boom, 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 and now we're into the free flow. That's how you break out of a medium range drill, combine it with a long range drill, and then back into close quarter attacks. Ranges applies with the pangamu and the empty hand. I'm out 1 and 2 against the jab and the cross. So again, now if he adds the kick, the same tactics apply. Let's go back up into the center here. And I'm out again. See, I don't want to do this. Jab cross. Boom. And now look. I'm right into the line of the right hand. On the 1 here, 1. And now I come across on the 2. Here's my right reverse 45-degree line. Why? Because environmental conditions. There may be a wall. There may be some obstruction. I range 3 and I range on 4 here. I'll show you on these tick marks here. If I just get a regular range here, I'm going to come directly back into a close quarter tercio corto strike across the bridge of the eyes of my opponent. If I get a little bit more distance, I can cut across the 90. Start on the 3, 4. Now I get across the 90 and I take that weapon wielding hand and now directly into right 45 into the center line of my opponent. And there's my distance line. I'm gaining the timing on the broken 2 there, and there, right there. Coming as close as I can to the hand without hitting it. If I don't understand the principle and the method of distance sparring, I have no idea how to gain and equal that timing so I can get ahead and then strike that hand. So I'm executing proper timing and proper range with precision, because we're going to go and utilize the live blade with this. Move directly from the impact weapon, from the training rattan, into the live blade. From the number 1, 1, 2, 3, right there. As you can see, I'm on a perfect left 45. Now look at this training method. Come across the 3 again, Dennis. Right there, I had the time to take the hand, but I came as close to the hand as possible without hitting it and just picked up that strike right on the stick, right close to the hand. That's the precision that you're gaining with this type of dynamic training method. We could hit the hand if we wanted to easily. All I need to do is extend my hand a little bit further, extend my arm a little bit further on the strike, and or extend my step a little bit further. The timing and the precision and the speed and the power is there. We have the complete realization and the complete understanding of the combat flow of weaponry. Let's show you what it looks like. Two, 3, and 4 direct. As you can see these lines here. We step out a little bit further on the range, but this is the particular pattern. So right there, boom, 2, right to the hand. Again, take my hand there on the 2. Even though I range, Dennis is going right to the weapon wielding hand. Now from here, as you can see, I'm in line as he cuts across on the left 45 right into the attack to the knee. I have to range and execute my full wall. Now Dennis is lined up for the forward triangle again on the number 4 and there. And now I can again utilize the system that I used before on the attacking back into my opponent and come back into my close quarter tercio corto strike with the number 1. Or I can go directly to the weapon-wielding hand as well. So again, we've laid out in colors the different attack triangles. Another lost secret of the Filipino martial arts is how do you create multiple angles of attacks with the triangle? How do you move dynamically across multiple angles, left 45, right 45? How do you go beyond your basic 8 tactics and techniques? How do you combine these and create the dynamic footwork system, the triangular footwork system? The secret is very simple. You have to... Advanced footwork and lost secrets of the Filipino martial arts. The Paquita Tercia system is the most complete, advanced, and effective Filipino martial arts system in existence today. This system was taught to me directly by the Supreme Grand Master, Grand Tuhon Leo T. Gahe Jr. I'll be presenting the true triangle system of footwork. How to protect yourself first from all strikes and attacks, utilizing the counteroffense system of triangular footwork. Then we're going to show you how to attack on the triangle system. And then how both combatants maneuver, how we train these skills individually, how we drill them together, and then how you get the free flow, how you get the true combat application or the true skill development of combat blade fighting. I'll be presenting the true triangular system of footwork and striking and lost secrets of the Filipino martial arts. First, we need to define what a secret is. A secret is nothing but valid knowledge known only to a minority. In the Filipino martial arts and in blade fighting systems, we're talking about training methodology, realistic training methodology, and manipulation, methods of attack, methods of striking, anything that gives you an advantage over your opponent or multiple opponents. In the martial arts, a secret is nothing mystical or magical, because all martial arts is a physical technique. It's physical execution. You can have the secret, you can have the knowledge, but unless you physically apply it, physically train it, physically develop it, that knowledge is worthless. It's still a physical exercise, and you must actively train and develop it. Train it so that you have the proper range and the proper timing. The key attributes for the effectiveness of any martial arts technique. The secrets of the triangular system of footwork and striking is encoded in the symbol of the Paquita Tercia system. The forward triangle in the center, the circle of arrows on the outside, and the universal star showing your cardinal directions in the center with the Ka symbol for Kali. The strategy of the Paquita Tercia system and of Filipino martial arts is based upon the triangle. 1. Protect yourself from all strikes and attacks. 2. Neutralize the weapon of your opponent. 3. Dominate the combat. The most important thing is to protect yourself from all strikes and attacks. We teach you how never to be hit and how to protect yourself first with the footwork system. The first tactic and the first understanding that you must gain and that we teach is the principle of the universal evasion angle based upon the ranging diagram. The universal evasion angle is left reverse 45. In other words, this is the only angle that will protect you against all other angles of attacks. diagonals, horizontals, and verticals, both with the slash and the thrust. So if Dennis comes online here and he attacks me with the number 1, I'm out here on a left reverse 45-degree line. If I step to the right reverse 45-degree line, I can range totally, but look what's happening. I'm stepping into the extension and to the path and to the line of attack of that forehand of the number 1. This forehand attack has the longest extension, the longest natural extension of the body. So this is not where you want to go. Again, if Dennis comes in, I can get out, I can range, but now look, I'm closer to the backhand strike. If I go back to left reverse 45, I angle out outside the extension and the angle of attack of the forehand strike, and now I'm further away from the backhand chamber and the number 2 strike. When you see instruction of stepping inside the forehand attack or the number 1 here, this is not tactically sound. You are stepping into the most powerful strike the human body delivers with the most range and the fastest attack. So you do not want to step inside here into the inside against those forehand attacks. This follows the principle of the circular arrows as well. When you evade your opponent's strike, you want to evade and move and maneuver to the outside of your opponent's weapon. The universal evasion angle, the left reverse 45-degree line, takes you outside the line of the diagonal slash, the horizontal, and the vertical out of all angular attacks, whether it be the slash or the thrust. I can move to the 90 and evade the diagonal slash, but I can't evade the horizontal slash because I'm simply stepping into the extension of the horizontal slash and the horizontal thrust. If the thrust comes out, you cannot evade on a 90-degree line because you're simply stepping into the full extension of that strike. When you talk about the 45-degree line going forward, you obviously cannot step into the diagonal line because you're stepping in right into the line of attack on the left 45-degree line. Same thing applies for all of your backhand angles. Dennis goes to the backhand horizontal. If I step out on 90, I'm stepping into the extension of the end of the blade. If I try and come in on a right 45, same thing here, whether horizontal or diagonal here, I cannot evade anything. I must protect myself with direct weapon-to-weapon contact. This is not evasion of your opponent's strike. So the universal evasion angle, how to protect yourself from all strikes and attacks, is the left reverse 45-degree line. Once you understand the universal evasion angle, then you start to learn the counter-offense ranging system, how to protect yourself from all strikes and attacks. Based upon the triangle, you range 3 times, once, twice, 3 times, and then attack on the 4th beat back into your opponent. In other words, you've got 3 beats, 3 strikes, 3 seconds to at least equal the timing of your opponent, and then attack back in on the forward triangle. So the first drill here is, we're back to combat distance here, and we're going to use the diagonal striking system of the 5 attacks, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Dennis will attack, 1, 2, 3, and then I tack in on the number 4. Once again, Dennis comes in with a realistic attack, 1, 2, 3, and then I come back in on the number 4, stepping forward. So slow this down here. So immediately, this is a real attack, okay? Dennis comes in and he's attacking either to my hand, sometimes he could attack all the way close range into the head. I range out on my initial range on the left reverse 45. If I have the good timing from here, I could try and even pick up Dennis's hand as he comes in. The key here in this first training method is that it has to be a real attack. Either Dennis is coming to my hand and or, as you can see, he is angling out sometimes toward my hand, or he could do a straight direct attack into my head. I still range out and protect myself on left reverse 45. Now he adjusts directly in a full triangle. There's my 2. I execute a 4 wall. 3 again. four wall, and then I come back in and target the hand of my opponent. 3 ranges out, 1 range attacking back into my opponent on the number 4 strike. The triangular system of counter-offense footwork works against any angle. So now Dennis will start on the backhand on number 2 here. 2, 3, 4, backhand on number 1. That time I took the hand. Once more, Dennis attacks on the number 2. 2, 3, 4, backhand on the number 1. One more time. From the number 2 side here. 2, 3, 4. There I may come in and get a little bit more range and strike in toward the close quarter or to the bridge of my opponent. Again, it works against both forehand attacks and backhand attacks. The same counter-offense system of protective footwork applies with the knife. I'm going to attack Steven now here. 1, 2, 3, backhand on the jab. Perfect. Utilizing the universal evasion angle, left reverse 45 degrees. 3 steps against the 1, 2, and 3 slash, and then he attacks back into the forward triangle, back into the opponent with the knife jab. Look at the principle here on the first step, on the first evasion step, on the number 1 here. If I attack directly straight line and Steven ranges out, 1 right there. Perfect. In other words, I can walk straight forward and we do not hit shoulders. In other words, you're outside the full range of extension of the strike, of the number 1 diagonal slash, all the way out. I should not see my opponent. For training, my training partner, I will tell him that he's executing the perfect evasion or the full evasion range if he gets out on the number 1 and we do not hit shoulder to shoulder. I do not see any portion of the torso of my opponent. That is the proper execution of ranging. The same protective counter-offense system of footwork, universal evasion 1, 2, and 3 on the ranges, applies with the pangamut and empty hand. I'm out 1 and 2 against the jab and the cross. So slow here, striking and striking here out on the 1 and the 2. 1 and 2 universal evasion, left reverse 45 degree steps. I'm outside the range of the jab and of the cross as Dennis starts to range in. Now if he adds the kick, the same tactics apply. Let's look back up here to center here. And I'm out again. See, out on the same left reverse 45 degree line. I don't want to do this. Jab cross. Boom. And now look. I'm right into the line of the right hand, of the extension of the cross. If Dennis throws the jab and the overhand, same thing. Boom. See, I'm outside the line of the overhand because I'm getting out on the left reverse 45 degree line. The universal evasion angle. The same tactics apply for the kicking. If Dennis throws a round kick here, I'm outside and then I come back in with my counter kick on the round kick. Right from here, from combat distance here, I'm out on the left reverse 45 degree line. I get my momentum and I come back in with my counter kick with the round kick. I want to be outside the line of attack. Again, if I step in the right, I'm stepping right into the line of the round kick, of the rear round kick. All of these tactics apply with the long weapon, the short weapon or the knife, and the empty hands or the pangamut. All right, let's revisit the universal evasion angle and just show a couple of principles off of this, okay? Again, Dennis attacks on number 1, 1, 2, okay? I'm outside the line of attack. Straight line attack on number 1, there and there. On the first one, Dennis comes in, I may have range to take the hand. On the second one, I may have to protect myself weapon to weapon. Still getting outside the line of attack. So let's slow it down here on the 1 here. As I range out on that second beat, the second step, I can get all the way outside the extension of the backhand strike. Now, attack on the 2. Here, if I get out here on the universal evasion angle, I'm outside the line of the 2. And of the follow-up 3. If I was to go the opposite direction here, 2, look where I'm at. I'm directly in line for the forehand strike at number 3. And now I need to get out. That is why, again, the universal evasion angle is left reverse 45 degrees. Come on to 2 again. 2, 3, right there. right on the universal evasion angle. I can evade the number 2, and on the number 3, go ahead at 3, I can evade the number 3 again. Either coming in again, 3, I can take the hand, or I can execute the 4 wall, protecting my knee, which is a target on the number 3 strike. So against all attacks, the 1 and the 2, 3 and the 4, forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand, you want to evade universally on the left reverse 45-degree line. Why? Because you're moving to the outside of the weapon, you want a quarter to the outside of the weapon, and when you execute your attack back into your opponent, you're coming in now on the forward triangle. Across the base here, left 90 into the forward triangle. As I come out on a universal evasion on left reverse 45 degrees, when I return back in, I'm attacking on the forward triangle from the left side. So Dennis comes in here, 1, 2, here, I come back in on the number 3 strike, right into the forward triangle. See, that technique right there, I almost hit the hand, but that's the precision of the type of training that we have. I return the strike back in, just inside the range of the weapon, and take my opponent's weapon-wielding hand. The better your skill becomes with the counteroffensive footwork, Dennis comes in again, multiple attacks. 1, 2, 3. See, I can totally evade all the strikes of my opponent. I even allow him to start attacking first. 1, 2, 3. Look at the range that I've got with my momentum and with the particular execution of this reverse 45-degree footwork. I'm able to evade the full extension of both forehand and backhand attacks. That is the skill of protecting yourself from all strikes and attacks. When I return back in, I'm returning back in and attacking on the forward triangle. As you can see here, I would step across the base of the line on the 90, and this is the forward triangle. So as I get out on the 1, I'm returning back in on 2. As I get out on 1 and 2, I return back in on 3. Out on 2 and 3, I return back in on the number 4. Any of these angles, I return back in on the forward triangle. The advanced counteroffensive system of footwork, of triangular footwork. We're going to show you 2 more methods of protecting yourself at long range, the cross step and the opposite angle. And then we're going to show you how to attack back into your opponent precisely with the forward triangle, across the 90 into a forward triangle, and then left 45, right 45, utilizing the diamond. First, again, additional method of protecting yourself. The cross step is used when you need a little bit more protection, when you need to range a little bit further, or when your opponent is attacking a little bit faster. Okay, they're ahead of timing. What you're using the cross step for is to pull the weapon back and protect your weapon hand. So again, Dennis comes in, 1, 2. You see, I cross step my right leg back, and look where my weapon is. My weapon is behind me now, far away from the number 3. If Dennis comes in and attacks on the number 3 here, I've given myself time to take that hand right on the number 3. So the cross step is used to protect the weapon hand. I could do single ranging, but if my opponent is attacking faster and has better footwork and he's bridging faster and further and closer, then you need to go to the cross step. Again, 1, 2, 3, right there. Picking up the number 3 strike across the hand. One more time here, 1 and 2, right there. As I cross step here, you can see I'm maintaining my footwork exactly on the reverse 45-degree line, left reverse 45-degree line. Now as Dennis comes in, I have the time to take the hand, immediately follow up on the 4, right into the number 3 umbrella with the finishing thrust. The cross step on the long range reverse evasion angle. Next is the opposite angle. Sometimes, because of environmental conditions, we may need to go right reverse 45. So on the 1 here, 1, and now I come across on the 2. Here is my right reverse 45-degree line. Why? because environmental conditions, there may be a wall, there may be some obstruction. We may need to move right, reverse 45-degree lines for one beat or one strike. Again, Dennis comes in and attacks. 1, 2. I can take the hand. If Dennis returns into the 3 here, I'm back out to left reverse 45. You can see our footwork is now parallel to the line here. And then the 4, I've got the time for the hand or execute the 4-wall strike. So the opposite angle, left reverse 45, into the right, back into the left reverse 45. Why? Because you want to at least get on the center line so you can continue on the next subsequent strikes to quarter to the outside. One more time. Dennis comes in. 1, 2. Sometimes I need to use the 4-wall here. Come into the 3. There. I take the hand again, and then I come in and attack on the number 4. One more time. All this is done, as you can see, this is done dynamically. We're just setting up the individual execution now and as a 2-person drill. You can apply this, and you should do this here, 1, 2, 3, on single ranging as an individual drill. Here's the cross step, 1, 2, and then back into regular range. Or individual training again with the opposite angle, 1, 2, and 3 on the opposite angle stepping footwork. I'm going to range out once, twice, and 3 times across again. Back into the parallel line of my left reverse 45-degree line, and now I can re-enter back into the forward triangle. As you can see, forward triangle into the center line of my opponent. The opposite angle footwork of the tertial largo system. Now that you have an understanding of the tactics, how this counter-offense footwork system, how the triangular footwork system protects you from the attack of your opponent, you should go back and isolate this footwork for mechanical development. Isolate the footwork mechanics so you can practice this precision on the angles, making sure that you're executing a perfect left reverse 45-degree line, and develop speed also. And obviously getting the mechanics of the wave in and wave out, gaining momentum on your footwork so you can develop more range as well. So momentum, speed, range all comes into play with counter-offense triangular footwork, protecting yourself against the attack of your opponent. So you're going to go back here. You can just chamber your weapon here first. Go back into your bladed position here. 1, 2, and 3. 3 steps on the reverse 45-degree footwork. Back into your bladed position here. You're back into your broken footwork here, and 1, 2, and 3. Back up into the broken footwork. I've got my heel raised so I can explode back in on the forward triangle. Next is the cross step. Again, back to your bladed position here. 1, 2, cross step, and 3. Bring the left leg back into a right lead, back into your attack position. Back again to your lead position here. 1, 2, and 3. Cross step with the right foot. Bring it back into the right lead by stepping back with the left. One more time for the cross footwork. You're back into your bladed position here. 1, 2, and 3. 3 ranges. Single range first. From your bladed position, single range. Then the cross step. Then a single range again. Back into the right lead. Ready to attack back into the opponent with your forward triangle. Now we're going to show you the opposite angle. Individual drills and mechanical development of the opposite angle footwork. Back into your lead position. 1, 2, and 3 here. Again, look, I'm not even looking at the deck, but I'm right on these reverse 45-degree lines. Why? Because I've taken the time to look at the deck, map out my proper angles, and make sure that I'm executing the left reverse 45. Make sure that I'm executing the right reverse 45. And back to the left again. Opposite angle footwork from your bladed position here. 1, 2, and 3. Back into your broken footwork position. Ready to come back in on the forward triangle. One more time. From the bladed position here. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. On line again, back in, ready to attack. The last tactic on the counteroffensive footwork system, on the triangular footwork system, is how do you attack back into your opponent. You can attack directly on the forward triangle, which is range and right 45, forward triangle back into the center line of your opponent. You can cut across the 90 and into a right 45. Across the base of the triangle, into right 45, into the center line of your opponent. If you get a little bit more distance, then you can attack left 45 and right 45, which is the half diamond. Left 45, right 45, tertiolago strike to the hand, and then another number 2 strike into the center line of your opponent. So we're going to start on a number 2 attack. Dennis attacks on number 2, 2, 3, 4, and I come back in on a close quarter strike. Again, starting on the 3 right here. Start on the 3 here. I range 3 and I range on 4 here. I'll show you on these tick marks here. If I just get a regular range here, I'm going to come directly back into a close quarter tertioccorto strike across the bridge of the eyes of my opponent. If I get a little bit more distance, I can cut across the 90. Start on the 3, 4. Now I get across the 90 and I take that weapon wielding hand and now directly into right 45 into the center line of my opponent. So as you see me cut across. Once we range on the 4 here, come in on the 4, and then right across the hand as I cut across on the 90, and then into the right 45, into the center line of my opponent. 3 again, 3, 4. Now I get a full range, left 45 taking the hand, right 45, half diamond into my opponent. Of course, I'm going to be standing where Dennis is at, and I'm going to be taking the center line of my opponent. One more time. Dennis attacks on 2, 3, 4. Since I've got this full range here, left 45 and right 45, taking the center line of my opponent. So you can see from this diagram here, you've got options based upon the length of that range. The length of the range on the number 4, starting on number 4. If I don't get too far out, I'm going to come right back in on the forward triangle, execute the tertioccorto strike right across the bridge of the eyes. So what am I applying here? I'm taking the weapon and the bridge of the eyes of my opponent. He's going to get hit with both my weapon and his as I come back in on the forward triangle. I get a little bit more distance. I'm going to cut across on the 90 and take the weapon hand. Why? Because it's a safer tactic. I get a little bit more here. Immediately I go out on the 90 degrees. As you can see, a perfect step. My feet are together and now I come in tertioccorto. Or from here, I could take the weapon hand with a half step on the range and take that hand right on the number 2. I get a little bit more range here on the 4 here, and now, as you see, right to here, left 45 and take that hand. And now I'm coming into the half diamond, right 45. Again, I take the center line of my opponent. I strike him with my weapon and his, or I can adjust to the hand and take the hand on a tertiolago strike, attacking into the weapon hand of my opponent. Now we're going to show you the secret to the attack system. How do you continue off of your basic footwork tactics and techniques, the forward triangle, the reverse triangle, the half diamond. How do you continue this and attack continually against an opponent that also knows how to protect themselves? The half diamond is the key for bridging, entering, striking from long range into close quarter. Why? Because the tactic is first strike and bridge to the weapon hand of your opponent. Then go into close quarter. As you can see here, we've mapped out the angle of attack for forehand attacks. Dennis here at the apex here, left 45 on the number 1 here, right 45 on the number 2, close quarter. And then look at the left 45 angle against my hand on the number 3. This is the attack system for forehand attacks. This is how Dennis attacks in to close quarter and how I protect myself with the counter-offense footwork system. So we're back at the apex here. Dennis goes to my hand. 1, 2 on the close quarter, and then 3 right across the hand on the number 3. One more time. Let's do a little bit faster here. Go. 1, 2, and 3 right there. You see I'm still executing my counter-offense footwork right here. Dennis attacks here. Number 1. 1, 2, and number 3. Let's turn. All right, let's look at this again with me attacking now. From the number 1. 1, 2, 3 right there. As you can see, I'm on a perfect left 45. Now look at this training method. Come across the 3 again, Dennis. Right there, I had the time to take the hand, but I came as close to the hand as possible without hitting it and just picked up that strike right on the stick, right close to the hand. That's the precision that you're gaining with this type of dynamic training method. We could hit the hand if we wanted to easily. All I need to do is extend my hand a little bit further, extend my arm a little bit further on the strike, and or extend my step a little bit further. The timing and the precision and the speed and the power is there. Again, back on the number 1. Now, Dennis is going to counterattack back in on the number 4, utilizing the counter-offense footwork system. 1, 2, 3, back out on the 4. Now, I'm executing again, universal evasion angle, left reverse 45 degrees against Dennis's number 4 counter-offense attack. Let's walk through that real quickly here. I attack on number 1, going to the hand. 2, 3, going to the hand again, and back in. I execute my, again, universal evasion, left reverse 45, coming on the 4, as Dennis strikes towards my hand or strikes close quarter towards the knee, as he's stepping back in on the forward right 45 degree angle into the forward triangle. One more time. Now, if you want to start to put this in a more dynamic drill, we can start with the fluid 5 attacks. We're going to start from the bladed position here. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, and back out on 4. See, Dennis got better timing that time, so he got closer with that number 4 strike, and I had to execute the 4 wall. Right from here, I could go right back into my left 45, just like I showed you on turning the counter-offense back into the offense, and go for Dennis's hand on the left 45. This is the secrets of the triangular footwork system. This is how we both attack and counterattack dynamically. We've isolated this and put it into a drill. Later, you will get to the free flow so that you are technical sparring and you are full sparring. Now we move to the attack triangle for backhand attacks. On the right side of the diamond, right 45 to the weapon wielding hand, left 45 degrees, completing the right side of the half diamond into the forward triangle, into the apex of your opponent, and then another forward right 45, again into the center line of your opponent. Again, Dennis is going to be on the attacking on number 2. 2, 3, and 4 direct, as you can see these lines here. We step out a little bit further on the range, but this is the particular pattern. So right there, boom, 2, right to the hand. Again, take my hand there on the 2. Even though I range, Dennis is going right to the weapon wielding hand. Now from here, as you can see, I'm in line as he cuts across on the left 45 right into the attack to the knee. I have to range and execute my 4 wall. Now Dennis is lined up for the forward triangle again on the number 4 and there. And now I can again utilize the system that I used before on the attacking back into my opponent and come back into my close quarter tercio corto strike with the number 1. Or I can go directly to the weapon wielding hand as well. So again, we've laid out in colors the different attack triangles. Forehand attacks, left 45, right 45, left 45. Again, another tercio largo strike on the forehand attack. On the backhand attacks, right 45 tercio largo, left 45 tercio corto, and then another right 45 tercio corto forward triangle strike. So it is not the same forehand and backhand. It's slightly different simply because of the anatomy of the human body and how you quarter from one side to the other. Again, let's go back to the 2. Again, bridge. 2, 3, 4. Perfect. 3 strikes on the half diamond into the forward triangle, and then I can turn it back into my offensive attack at any time. Let's switch this around. Once you've executed it with the single ranges, identifying the left and right 45s, tercio largo, tercio corto, executing the half diamond, and then into the forward triangle, now we can go back and add the fluid 5 attacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back in. Exactly. As I get back out, Dennis came back in on that number 1. I ranged out and took the hand with the tercio largo strike. This is the dynamic execution of the backhand attacks, half diamond into the forward triangle, and executing offense and counter-offense striking. This is the secret of the triangle system. As you can see, I've laid out the diagrams. I've laid out how you attack on the multiple angles, left 45, right 45. How you continue the attacks of the half diamond, which you learn in the basic footwork video, which, by the way, everybody has in Filipino martial arts. Everybody has some type of forward and reverse triangular stepping, but they don't know how to continue on with multiple attacks and execute the counteroffensive footwork system so that you can protect yourself from these dynamic offensive attacks utilizing the triangular system. So we put this in the diagrams here. Forehand attacks, left 45, right 45, left 45. The backhand attacks, right 45, left 45, right 45 into the forward triangle. And then utilizing the system of turning the counter-offense into the offense. If you're close, come back into the direct forward triangle. If you get a little bit more range, you can cut across the 90 and then go into the forward triangle. If you get a little bit more range, or you get a full complete range, long range on the number 4 strike, you can attack left 45 and right 45, again utilizing the half diamond. This is the secrets of the triangular system footwork of the Pakiti Tertia system. Let's go over 3 final points, 3 final tactics and principles of the triangular footwork system. The first is, even though you're executing counter-offense, you are not only protecting yourself, but you're still attacking your opponent. Even as I get out on the number 1 here, I'm still striking the weapon hand of my opponent if I get the proper range. Dennis comes in again, I can strike that hand now that I start to gain better range and better timing with the strikes of my opponent. First, when you execute the counteroffensive footwork, you're just trying to get out and protect yourself. You're trying to execute a full range to protect yourself from the strikes, attacks, and the bridging footwork and striking of your opponent. The better you get in the timing of the strikes of your opponent, then you can target the weapon-wielding hand. So what are we giving you? We're giving you the ability to retreat for a moment, for a second, for 1 beat, and then at the same time attack the weapon-wielding hand of your opponent. Effective tercio largo striking. The second principle is the understanding of the diamond, of the half diamond. As you can see, the diamond is nothing but the reverse triangle and the forward triangle connected at the broken line, connected at the base of the triangles. So the understanding is, and the tactic, the offensive tactic is, the reverse triangle is an attack triangle. It is not the counter-attack triangle or the counter-offense triangle. The reverse triangle is an attack triangle as well. That first left 45 there is a strike to my hand, the weapon-wielding hand. Why? Because that is the safest tactic. From long range into close quarter, you want to strike to the hand first. As you execute the second angle, the second right 45 on the left hand, go ahead, on the forehand, 1 and 2. Now you're coming into the forward triangle and you're coming into close range. Long range on the reverse triangle, close range into the center line on the forward triangle. So in reality, the diamond has both the reverse triangle and the forward triangle enclosed. As you can see, we added the broken line to break up the range. Why the broken line? Because this is long range here. This is tip-to-tip distance. This is defined by the circle of arrows. We are right at combat distance. Not too far away, not too close. This was defined in the basic footwork on the principle of the circle. This is the range where we circle at long range and then start to cut in and attack on the half diamond, on the left 45, on the right 45. However, the broken line is here to show that if our distance, as we started to circle, if the distance became closer, if Dennis stepped in a little bit closer toward that broken line, he can no longer step into the left 45 because he would be coming into the tercio corto strike and effectively giving me his hand. I could range and take the hand. So if you find yourself at that medium range, then you're going to execute the 90 degrees across the base of the line, taking the hand back directly into the forward triangle. As you can see that Dennis exactly stepped on here. Again, as we're circling, sometimes we will be at, go back out to long range, we'll be at tip to tip where we can execute the left 45. Shoot it. Boom. Perfect. But as you start to maneuver, you could create this distance or your opponent could create the distance. A little bit closer, shoot across the 90. There. Exactly. Right across my hand. At the base of the forward triangle and then coming in on the number 2. So you have to be able to see this. You have to be able to visualize this as you're moving fluidly around the circle, maneuvering to the outside, and then you start to cut in on the different angular attacks, on the different triangular system of attacks of Piquete Tertia. The last principle is the understanding that we are already executing combined triangular system footwork and striking on these particular angles. So from here, if I come out on my number 1 attack, there's my number 1 right there. Again, if I come out on my number 1 right there. As I step on that left 45 and I execute my number 1, look at the angle. I'm already executing the half diamond, one angle with my footwork, the second angle with the strike of my weapon on the right 45 here against the weapon wielding hand of my opponent right there. When Dennis comes in on the backhand system, it's the same thing. 2 and 3. He steps across that line here and look at the strike with the weapon. It's the same forward triangle step that will follow up with the number 4 strike. So we're already combining the triangular system of footwork and the triangular system of striking together in the same formula, in the same execution of the half diamond and the forward and reverse triangles. The lost secrets of the Filipino martial arts. The secrets are the training methods. What are the effective training methods? What are the realistic training methods? And what is the dogma that permeates a lot of the training today? As you can see, you have to go dynamic. You have to be able to execute dynamic footwork attacks and striking attacks combined with the triangle system. You have to go beyond tactics and techniques or any type of training that executes just weapon-to-weapon contact or weapon-to-weapon engagement and no footwork. For instance, coming here on a very, very basic attack, and you see a lot of training methods like this where they actually here with no footwork and making contact weapon-to-weapon. This is unrealistic. In reality, what this is showing is when I come back in, come on out here, Dennis, on the number 4, I range on the number 4 here, and I'm attacking back in onto the forward triangle on the 1. That is what that tactic is. Okay? It is not standing here on a counter offense and coming into a one-to-one contact and then placing your hand across in that particular manner. That is not the tactic. The realistic tactic is getting out on the 4 here and then coming back in on a close quarter number 1 strike. As you can see, I'm not stepping inside the line of that number 1 strike. I'm maintaining my range, but I am clearly the one attacking. I have gained my momentum, I have gained the timing, and now I am re-entering into the forward triangle, striking with a tercio corto strike across the weapon of my opponent in range of his bridge of the eyes, in range of the head. With a proper follow through, I'll take my opponent's weapon and the eyes, the head of my opponent. That is the proper tactic of the one-to-one at close quarter. The tercio corto strike, one-to-one. One of the secrets to mastering this footwork system is isolating these tactics and techniques properly from the beginning. Go back and master your basic 8. The broken, the fluid, which is the sidestepping, your takeoff, forward and reverse triangles, your wave in and wave out, ducking, and ranging. Then applying the advance, the 9 through 12, the reverse L, the N, the M, and the diamond. From here, you want to isolate your lower body mechanics and the upper body mechanics, or the striking. When you strike, do not twist on the balls of your feet. Many styles and systems equate the turning and the torquing to generating power. In reality, you're not going anywhere. You're not moving. You're not stepping. You're staying in place and twisting on the balls of your feet. This is incorrect. This is not an execution of the triangular system of footwork. You are not bridging. You are not moving, and you're certainly not attacking your opponent in this particular manner. In reality, when you're twisting, the twist on the ball of the foot is actually executed on the takeoff. So right from here, from my forehand position here, my broken one, when I execute the takeoff here, you can see when I drop my foot here and roll off the ball of my foot, there is that particular mechanic. I'm here on my broken one, I execute my takeoff. That is where you're pushing off the ball of the foot. But now you're executing a left 45 and right 45, if you will, on the half diamond, tactically attacking on left 45 and right 45, utilizing the triangular system of footwork and striking. So instead of twisting on your feet here, in reality you want to execute that takeoff here, and there you go. There you are, pushing off the ball of your foot, dropping the heel with the takeoff mechanics, pushing off the ball of your foot while you're striking forward, on the forehand and backhand attacks. This is another lost secret of the Filipino martial arts, is how do you create multiple angles of attacks with the triangle? How do you move dynamically across multiple angles, left 45, right 45? How do you go beyond your basic 8 tactics and techniques? How do you combine these and create the dynamic footwork system, the triangular footwork system? The secret is very simple. You have to bring the feet together. When you go out to range, you bring the feet together to gain the momentum to come back into full range and attack close quarter into your opponent. When you execute the 90 degrees here, when you're out on 90, you want to bring the feet together so that you protect your weapon-wielding hand as you get out of range. When you execute a half diamond, you need to bring the feet together so you can get the full forward range, long range into close quarter when you're attacking your opponent, reverse 45 and forward 45 on the half diamond. The secret of creating and executing the triangular footwork system properly and correctly is bring the feet together. The principle of the circle. Circling your opponent clockwise to the outside of your opponent's weapon. This secret has been maintained, again, through the symbol of the Pahita Tertia system, the circle of arrows surrounding the forward triangle. This is tip-to-tip distance. This is long range into close quarters. Right here, if I'm any further out here, then I'm simply too far away to effectively make a strike to the weapon-wielding hand of my opponent. If we're tip-to-tip, which this is the range of the circle right here, I can step in on that left 45 and take the number 1 or the forehand. Go to number 2, same thing here. On the right 45, I can take that weapon-wielding hand. Because the circle defines combat distance, tip-to-tip, roughly tip-to-tip right here. Whether we're talking about the long weapon, whether we're talking about the knife, and or empty hands, the Pangamut system. The circle again, the secret, how do you maneuver to the flank, to the outside of your opponent. You do not want to maneuver inside here, inside the power strike of the number one attack. You want to maneuver to the outside. Why? Because you want to gain the outside control position, the control of the elbow in close quarter. Also, when you get to the advanced contradas, number one attack, you want to maneuver to the outside. You don't maneuver to the inside of the most powerful strike that the human body can deliver, with the most speed and the most range. So again, the principle of the circle of arrows, clockwise to the outside of your opponent's weapon. This is the secret, one of the lost secrets that has been maintained by our symbol. But let's look at the origin. Where does this come from? This also comes from the indigenous tribal dances, the warrior dances, where they traditionally had the spear and the shield. So they would have the shield and the spear at long range because this is the long range weapon. You get into medium range, you draw your sword and shield. You get into close range, that's when the knife comes out. So in the indigenous, in the tribal methods, they always had the circle because they circled with the sword and the shield. You can see this in the older pictures and the older photographs, turn of the century, documentation of the tribal dances. They always had the circular movement with their long-range weapons. The circle defines long range. Now let's put it into practice. Again, if you go back to the basic footwork video, you'll see the basic mechanics, forward and left reverse 45, basic mechanics utilizing your 1, 2, 3, and 4. Dennis and I, now we're going to break this up and we're going to go a little bit of the free flow and show you how we circle with any strike. And come back in, here, there, and there. I'm gaining and maintaining the range so I can start to cut in on the triangular system footwork, on the triangular system of attacks. There. Executing a left 45 and a right 45, but with a combination of both contact tactics and contradas tactics. There. Again, utilizing the circle, circling always to the outside, clockwise, outside the power arc and the power strike of my opponent's weapon. The next secret comes directly from the circling. What were we accomplishing there while we were maneuvering on the circle? We were accomplishing distance sparring. In other words, it's the dynamic visualization of the angles of attack. And how do you gain the timing of your opponent? So in other words, we're coming as close to the weapon hand as we can without hitting it, on time of these particular strikes. So again, as soon as I move around here, on anything here, broken rhythm there and there. There's my distance sparring. I'm gaining the timing on the broken two there, and there, right there. Coming as close as I can to the hand without hitting it. If I don't understand the principle and the method of distance sparring, I have no idea how to gain and equal that timing so I can get ahead and then strike that hand. So I'm executing proper timing and proper range with precision, because we're going to go and utilize the live blade with this. Move directly from the impact weapon, from the training rattan into the live blade. Distance sparring, the visualization of the strikes, long range into close quarter. So now let's make this a little bit simpler, and we're going to go to the fluid fight attacks. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. I have to gain and maintain the timing of my opponent so I can start to execute dynamic attacks, proper triangular attacks. 1, 2, there it is on the 3, there it is on the 4 as I come in on the distance sparring. This is the skill again, how to bridge long range into close quarter. If you cannot match the angle of attack of your opponent at long range in proper time, you'll never be able to execute an effective attack. Why? Because if you can't equal the timing, you can't break the timing and get ahead. Equal ahead of timing. Equal ahead of timing on the 4, taking that weapon wielding hand. Or possibly equal ahead and bridging in on the close quarter 3, taking the weapon wielding hand. All of this is executed from long range in the close quarter with the principle of distance sparring. In other words, the dynamic visualization of the angles of attack. Now, the advanced application is when you have the methodology and when you have the tactics of the contradas. When we're moving from pasuno to pasugat, contact to contradas, and back and forth. In other words, you've got the free flow. Here, there it is. Boom, boom. There it is. Boom. That's it. Back. Exactly. Right there. The dynamic execution of gaining and maintaining the timing and the distance with the free flow of the opponent's weapon. You have to have the understanding of tactics to understand what's safe and what can be executed long range in the close quarter. Contact, contrada strike, 2 to 3. Contrada strike, 3 versus 2. 1, circular 2 into the contrada strike, 2 to 3. All of this has to be developed and executed with distance sparring. The secret of combining drills and what we call ranging drills out. In other words, you don't stay stuck in a medium range drill, continuous application over and over and over again. Why? Because this is unrealistic tactically. The reason you do that, the reason you stay in medium range for a particular drill, for instance, in the Piquete Tertia system, the Daca de Puño drill, this is a medium range drill here, close range to medium range. We do this because we're simply isolating and developing the particular tactics learned in that drill and developed in that drill, which is dakup, the application of the left hand, and the puño, the horizontal puño attacks. Once you've mastered those mechanics, once you develop that individual drill to a high level proficiency, you need to break that drill, dissolve the drill, range that drill out by combining that with, say, the fluid 5 attacks. So Dennis and I will start again here. Back into fluid 5 attacks. Back into Daca de Puño. Then back out here, boom, and now we're into the free flow. That's how you break out of a medium range drill, combine it with a long range drill, and then back into close quarter attacks. Lost secret to the Filipino martial arts. Now we must come to a tactical understanding of offensive combat. This is defined in the Piquete Tertia system by 2 methods, tercio corto and tercio largo. We are quartering in close quarter, executing close quarter strikes that takes the weapon of my opponent and the target. Here on the 2, takes the bridge of the eyes, takes the head. On the number 4, that would be taking the weapon and the knee of the opponent. Or tercio largo, we're executing strikes against the hand, the weapon-wielding hand of my opponent. The same as we were executing on the half diamond. Tercio largo and tercio corto. Medium range is not defined in the Piquete Tertia system. It is the range that you want to bridge in and out of. Bridge through medium range into close quarter, taking the center line of your opponent, taking the weapon and the close quarter target of your opponent. Tercio largo, ranging out to long range, taking the weapon-wielding hand of your opponent. Also, bridging in with the long-range strike. In other words, when I execute the left 45, I'm taking the weapon-wielding hand of my opponent. So how do you train this effectively? How do you train this realistically? We'll start off here. Dennis starts with the attack combination of 1, 2, and 3, left and right 45, and another left 45. Since he's ahead on the very first strike, he's going to be on my hand here with the tercio largo strike. I may protect my hand and then counter-offense strike, tercio largo to his number 2. He gains the timing again, and he comes across my hand with the number 3. That's a simulated drill. All those strikes at tercio largo. Hand strikes, 1, 2, and 3. Let's do that again. Go. 1, 2, and 3. He gets my hand on the number 1. I gain the timing and strike on the number 2, and then Dennis picks it up again on number 3. How do we know this? We know this through the methods of distance sparring. I know because I can see the tip of Dennis's weapon cross my hand. He hit my hand before my hand crossed the center line. That was an effective strike. Long range into close quarter as he's stepping on the left 45. Here, I'm able to hit the 2 because I hit the hand, the forearm right there before it reached the center line. Dennis gains the initiative again, and he takes my hand. When you're training in this manner, you understand and you appreciate the range and the timing of your opponent. If I know that he has the timing and the strike, I give that to him. I understand that that was an effective strike. That's the execution of tercio largo, both offense and counter-offense. All right, now let's look at the execution of the tercio corto strikes. How do you realistically get trained this and appreciate the ability to bridge close quarter? So let's switch this out. I'll execute the attacks. 1, 2, and then 3. On the 2 right there, starting on the 1, I got the hand shot here. Now I've got the momentum and the range to execute the close quarter strike. As you can see, I've got the range for the follow-through. Dennis didn't get his counteroffensive footwork range that far. Right from here, with my wave in, I've got a full torso strike. I could have easily continued on through and hit the target, hit the bridge of the eyes. But for training, I'm only going to execute this with about 60 to 70% of the intensity of the power of the strike. Why? Because I already know that I got the range to effectively strike my opponent. I don't need to hit my training partner to show him that I have that particular range. I follow through because in reality, what is Dennis executing? He's executing the forewall. If he waved his body back a little bit more, then he would have effectively executed the forewall. I continue the attack because we just don't want to stop there and get the close quarter strike on the left 45 right across the weapon wielding hand. 2 tactics of training. I can either go to the outside of the hand, very precise with the tip of the weapon, as close to the hand as possible, or I can hit the weapon as close to the hand as possible, just so that my training partner knows how close I came to his hand. Both are effective training methods on weapon-to-weapon combat, on bladed weapons combat. Lost secrets of the Filipino martial arts. Now you're going to get an understanding of the complete combat blade fighting system of Pikiti Tertia. Why? Because we have an understanding of the combat flow of weaponry. There are 2 interactions of weapons to weapons. One is contact, forehand to forehand, backhand to backhand, regardless of the strike, regardless of the angle of attack. In the Ilonggo dialect, this is what we call pasugat, when the weapons meet. The other interaction, or the other combat flow of weaponry, is now when the weapons are on the same side of the center line. This is called the pasunod, or the contrados flow. Here, 2 to 1, and 3 to 2, back and forth. I can also thrust and thrust against the slash, slash against the thrust. This is the total combat flow of weaponry, blade fighting, combat blade fighting. The principle of pasugat, contact. The principle of the pasunod, the flow on the weapon's same side of the center line. And there are specific tactics and techniques to engage long range to close quarter. When you have this strategic understanding, you have the complete combat flow of weaponry. In other words, you never have to stop the motion and the momentum and the flow of the weapons. Once you've trained and developed the offensive methods of pasugat and the pasunod, contact and the contradas, now you put this together into the free flow. We're executing realistic, true combat blade fighting tactics and techniques. As I explained earlier, when I bridge on that number 1, I'm going to come as close to the hand as possible without hitting it. If I miss that, if Dennis protects himself with the counteroffensive footwork, I'm going to continue my attack into the contact in the close quarter with about 60 to 70% of that power. Dennis has to displace. He has to execute the counteroffensive footwork, and he has to put up enough force to prevent the collapse of his weapon into the bridge of his eyes. When I'm training this realistically, when we're moving and countering each other with both footwork, the triangular footwork system, and the tactics of contact to contradas, the pasugat and the pasuna, we have the complete realization and the complete understanding of the combat flow of weaponry. Let's show you what it looks like. All right, let's review the three most important lost secrets of the Filipino martial arts. The first is circling, identified by the circle of arrows on the Pakita Tertia symbol. This defines long-range combat. We want to circle to the outside of our opponent's weapon, clockwise, quartering to the outside. As we're circling, we are executing distance sparring. We are gaining and maintaining the timing of our opponent's weapon strikes, and we're also adjusting our range appropriately, coming as close to the hand as we can on our long-range strikes. Then, the full appreciation and understanding of the combat flow of weaponry, the tactics of pasugat, the tactics of contact, and the tactics of the pasuna, or the contradas flow. Once you have this, you have the complete understanding, execution, and training methodology of real combat blade fighting, executed in the Pakita Tertia system.